Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to the channel. Today we will discuss the chapter The Great Uprising. By mid 19th century, British led themselves as the supreme political power of India. The Mughal Empire existed only in name as the emperor. Bahadur Shah Zafar had neither territory nor power. Nearly 100 years of British presence in India had made all sections of Indian society very unhappy. Even Sipahis were unhappy as they were treated unfairly. Between 1757 and 1856, there were numerous revolts in different parts of India. So, the British had established by the 19th century, by the mid of 19th century, British already had established themselves as the political power or the supreme political power. The Mughal emperor had already declined themselves. Bahadur Shah Zafar had neither had territory nor power. Nearly 100 years of British presence in India had made all sections of Indian society very unhappy. The people, the society, even Sipahis were unhappy with the treatment of British or the company. So even the Sipahis were unhappy with their treatment. Okay, so between 1757 and 1856, there were numerous revolts or numerous wars, battles were fought between uh, people and the company or the British. We can check what are the causes of the uprising. The biggest challenge to British authority came in 1857. So the biggest challenge to British authority came in 1857. We can check what is the biggest challenge to the British authority who came in 1857. The economic causes, the policy of economic exploration and the destruction of the traditional India economic structure by the British caused widespread resentment among Indians. Whenever the princely states were annexed, the British go rent free land and huge amount of money. The common people faced unemployment and poverty. When Awadh was occupied by the British, Nawab's officials were dismissed and his army was disbanded. About 60,000 professional soldiers lost their livelihood. Peasants suffered due to high revenue demands. Artisans and craftsmen were reigned by unfair competition. The old ruling classes were displaced by the British. So these points were coming in the economic causes. All these problems faced not only to the high class members but also the ordinary people also caused bad from the British or from the company to the people. No one were happy with the treatment of British or the company. The political causes. Lord Dalhousie's policy of annexation and the doctrine of lapse had made the Indian rulers angry and insecure. He said that if king dies without a natural heir, then the kingdom would be annexed by Britishers. The Muslim feelings had been badly hurt when after the death of Bahadur Shah II, Lord Canning took away regal titles and Mughal palaces. Thousands became unemployed when English under Lord Dalhousie annexed Oudh. So, in the case of political causes also, no one were happy with the treatment of British towards the people. Even the leaders of India were not happy with the policies provided or given from the British government. Social and religious causes. The social reforms were considered an interference in the customs and traditions of the Hindus. Many Indians opposed the introduction of Western culture in India. The Hindu law of property was changed to enable a Christian convert to receive his share of ancestral property. Moreover, the British followed a system of racial discrimination. The British considered them as superiors. They advocated a judicial system based on the principles of equality, but in actual practice it was biased. Even in the social and religious causes also, the British government or the company made the people bad. They just compelled the people to change their religions too. The social causes. Christianity arose in India as the Britishers had been established there. So there were many Hindus who transformed themselves into Christians. This hurt the Hindus as they left their own natural caste. Also, the abolition of certain reforms such as sati, child marriage, etc. Socio-religious causes of revolt. One of the major reasons for the revolt was socio-religious policies of the British, which included racial superiority and discrimination, missionary activities, and deliberate efforts to subvert the religious beliefs of the people in India. So, the main aim of the company or the British government was to make discrimination between the religion or Hindus and Muslims. Those were the major aim of the British government or the company. Social and religious causes, traditional and various religious communities and convert people to Christianity, abolition of sati, racial discrimination, introduction of Western education were the major important causes for the socio-religious. Now moving to the military causes. Immense discrimination between the British and the Indians. There suddenly brought up discrimination between the British and the Indians. They didn't give the proper salary to the Indians who were working with the British government. They didn't give a high post to the Indian sipais of those who are working with the British government or those who are working in the military of British. Those who have given the high posts to the Indian sipais, those who are working with the British military. The spark that led to the mutiny in the several Sipai companies was the issue of new gunpowder cartridges for the Enfield rifle in February 1857. A rumor was spread that the cartridges were made from cow and pig fat. Loading the Enfield required tearing open the greased cartridge with one's teeth. So the cow is sacred for Hindus and the pig is discriminated or avoided by the Muslims. So it is not accepted by the people. So they haven't used it. So in this picture you can see how to use the cartridge or the gun by the Sipai. So the Sipai didn't used or didn't took the weapon or the gun with the company or with the British government. Okay, that was also made the British government anger towards the Sipais because they are not using the gun of British government. And now moving to the Mangal Pandey. Who was Mangal Pandey? What all the things he have done to India and to the people? As a Indian soldier, Mangal Pandey was a key part in the events immediately. He was a Sipahi in the 34th Bengal Native Infantry Regiment of the British East India Company. His life and actions have also been portrayed in several cinematic productions. Also, Mangal Pandey was a great person. He just left his life as an Indian soldier whose attack on British officer on March 29, 1857, was the first major incident. The Indian Rebellion of 1857, also known as the First War of Indian Independence, started on May 10, 1857 at Meerut. It was the first major and large-scale rebellion against the East Indian Company rule, although not the first revolt against the company. Okay, so it was called, also known, the First War of Indian Independence, started on May 10th, 1857 at Meerut. So understand that the First War of Indian Independence, also the name of the Great Uprising. Okay, it was started from May 10th, 1857 at Meerut. Also, major rebellion or major fight also were held before the Great Uprising or before the War of Indian Independence. Many other wars or many other revolts were held before the War of Indian Independence on May 10th, 1857. Okay, so the war was against the company rule. They were not ruling well. They were not accepting the people. They were not doing the proper rule towards the people and towards in India. Okay, so the Indian Rebellion of 1857 was a major thing at that period. Okay, the Great Uprising. Spread of the revolt of 1857. The revolt of the Sipahis spread from Barakpur to Meerut and thence to Delhi. Both at Meerut and Delhi, the Sipahis killed the Europeans wherever they come across. When the news of the occupation of Delhi by the Sipahis reached Muzaffarnagar, May 13th, the spread of the revolt. Revolt began in Barakpur, a town north in Calcutta, at the end of January 1857. Indian soldiers at Barakpur refused to use the greased cartridges. Mangal Pandey fired at an English officer, was arrested and hanged, the first martyr of revolt. Those were the first point or the starting point of the Great Uprising or the first war of independence. Here you can check the list of important leaders associated with the Great Uprising Revolt of 1857. Revolt of 1857, the important leaders and the place you can see in the picture: Lucknow, Kanpur, Jhansi, and Bihar. Also, you can check the important leaders who were participated in the Great Uprising of 1857. Suppression of the revolt. The British army freed Delhi. The epicenter of the revolt, Bahadur Shah Zafar, was tried and sent to Rangoon. His children were killed. The control of Delhi and imprisonment of Bahadur Shah Zafar broke the backbone of the mutiny. Lucknow was recaptured in 1858. Rani Lakshmi Bai was killed and Tandya Tope was captured and hanged to death. Those things were the suppression of the revolt or the time of the revolt. What all the things happened we have told in this paragraph. At the time of revolt, the Bahadur Shah Zafar were arrested and he has been imprisoned by the company or by the British government, and his children were killed. Also, Lucknow was recaptured. Rani Lakshmi Bai was killed and Tandya Tope was captured and hanged to death. Those points were the suppression of the revolt or the things which were happened at the time of revolt or at the time of the Great Uprising. Causes of failure of revolt. Why do our Indians fail in that revolt or in the Great Uprising? The uprising had been planned for months, but it broke before the due date. There was no unity among the rebels. It was limited to north and central India. The rebels could not match the sophisticated weapons on the British. The leadership was neither strong nor gave direction to the rebels. So, the causes of the failures were the uprising had been planned for months, but it was not widespread. To each corners of India it hadn't reached. And the revolt of 1857 suffered from a weak leadership. It was not planned and organized. There was a clear lack of unity among the rebels and there was no common purpose among them during the revolt of 1857. Also, the rulers of Kashmir, Gwalior, and Hyderabad helped the British against the revolt. So, if the leaders of our India, if uh, helping the British government, so there was no any unity towards the rulers of India and none. Nature of the uprising. British historians refer it as the Sipahi mutiny. According to them, a few Sipahis of English East India Company revolted. Okay, so those are the important points. So the Great Revolt of 1857 also can call the first Indian War of Independence. So I hope you have understood the topic, the Great Uprising. If you have any doubt, you can discuss in the group and you can comment below. If you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe and press the notification for upcoming videos. So thanks for today. Bye bye.